Ladies and gentlemen, whether you like it or not, we have to all admit that we've been worked. But that does not stop the purpose of today's video, because today's video is the SummerSlam Night 1 review. And man, was this a crazy one. But before we do get into this review, I want to clarify that after SummerSlam in general, I'm going to be posting a wrestling hot takes of y'all's thoughts on SummerSlam, where I'm going to ask you over on Instagram. So be prepared for that on the Instagram. But for now, we're going to be doing the SummerSlam Night 1 review, and man, was it crazy. So, the places you can follow me. If you want some gaming streams sometimes, you can go over to CZV_Wrestling_2309 over on the Twitch. And obviously, if you want to see mainly my wrestling, or all my wrestling content, but except for these long-form videos, you can go over to my Instagram, CZV_Wrestling over there, where we're actually growing really fast, and I thank y'all for 1,000 subscribers. But either way, let's hop right into the SummerSlam Night 1 review. So, funny enough, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso take on Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker in the opener of SummerSlam. This actually caught me by surprise. I thought it was going to be Tiffany versus Jade due to the fact that they did not get the main event. I know for some people, I saw online that a lot of people were upset that Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton for the championship did not end up getting the Night 1 main event. But, guys, you got to think. And it was mostly the women wrestling fans that actually started this hassle of how they were mad that Tiffany and Jade didn't get main event. But you got to understand, this is CM Punk versus Gunther. This is the biggest match of Punk's career coming back so far. Of his new run, this is the biggest match of his career. You got to put it on the main event, especially on a PLE like SummerSlam. So, I want to make that clear too. But what I said in my last video was that I hope that Bronson Reed comes out with Roman Reigns shoes to continue this storyline. And what did he do? Come out with his shoes. So I was really happy about that, because that continues the storyline, continues everything we wanted. So I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad the storyline continues. But even though in the end, the tag team match was pretty good, but there were some spots in there that I was actually concerned for the health of the wrestlers. One move in particular, Roman Reigns goes for a dive onto the outside, but Bronson and Bron, Roman kind of overshoots, and Bronson and Bron only catches his feet where he has to over-rotate, and as a Roman Reigns fan and a Roman Reigns mark, my heart dropped a beat. But I was really scared in that moment. But then we saw Bronson Reed do the same exact thing, where he about fell straight on his face, or he did fall straight on his face, but he looked completely fine. Same with Roman, but Roman had to get a little breather for sure. But during this match, the fans really wanted Roman Reigns in the match, and then he finally got a hot tag. The crowd went berserk. Great way to open the show. I loved that. I loved having this at the start, because I don't feel like you could have put it anywhere in the card after. I guess you could have put it in the middle of the show, just to kind of keep the fans engaged. But on a PLE like this, you don't need to keep the fans engaged, because they're always going to be excited for that main event. So I think this was an awesome way to open the show. In the end, we ended up seeing Roman Reigns take a spear for Jey. Then Jey hit the Uso splash on Bronson Reed and got the win. So obviously, I am down a prediction here. I did pick Bronson and Bron, but I thought that was the obvious answer due to the fact that I thought that Seth Rollins was injured. So I was gonna say, I think that they're gonna win just because they have to keep this storyline relevant. Is that even relevant? There it is. Brain's not going today. But they need to keep this faction relevant, and that's what I predicted Bronson and Bron for. But obviously it didn't end up happening, but I'm so glad Roman won. Definitely helps out Jey too, due to the fact that he is doing poorly on Monday Night Raw right now, so it definitely helps him and his character both. So I'm happy that they got the win, and it was an awesome match in general. Next up, we see a women's tag team match where Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, representing the Judgment Day, will be taking on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss in a tag match to see who will become the new women's tag team champions. And after a great in-ring performance from each and every woman in this match, I was really surprised by Raquel stepping up and doing her part. Normally, I hate to say it, but she's the odd woman out, kind of not putting in the in-ring ability, because Roxanne's normally the only one carrying those duo tag matches with Raquel. But tonight, Raquel really stepped up, and she showed why she deserves to be in that spot that she's in as the tag champ. So I thought that was awesome to see from her. But in the end, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are your new women's tag team champions, and I really don't know how I feel about it. Obviously, the rumors were going around, which y'all do tell me to not listen to rumors, but I have to, man. I'm a content creator. I have to listen to the rumors, and man, I sure did. And I heard every rumor talking about how WWE really wanted to do something with the Lily storyline, and how Chelsea Green wanted to be a part of the Lily storyline. How Alexa has a lot of fun with teaming with Charlotte in this tag team, but I also heard that Triple H might be looking at putting her with the Y6, so I really didn't know what to believe, and I could have seen how we could have had Alexa and Charlotte lose tonight, and then Alexa go join the Y6 and defeat Raquel and Roxanne, but then where do you leave Charlotte? So I did end up picking in my predictions video Charlotte and Alexa, but I didn't know it was going to be this straight up. I thought there was going to be some shenanigans for maybe Finn Balor, JD McDonough. None of that. We just had an awesome match, just straight up. I thought it was so awesome, and even though my attention was not fully locked in on this match because I was eating, I think that it was 100% worth the watch, and I would definitely go back and watch it, and I'm probably going to do that tonight since I did miss a little bit of it. Next up, we see a match that I was actually really excited for, and Karrion vs Sami Zayn, and this match kind of ended the rivalry between the two. We know that Karrion's been trying to get Sami to join the bad side for a while now, ever since the start of this year. So I thought it was cool to see the match, but at the same time, the ending I wasn't very happy about. I was not excited to see Karrion actually lose this match. I thought that this was going to be a good character booster, and I just know as soon as Karrion found out that he was losing this match, he was definitely angry inside. But you got to keep it together. You got to go do your work, and that's exactly what he did. He put on an awesome match and great storytelling as well, as Scarlett ended up handing Sami the metal pipe that Karrion's been using this whole entire storyline, absolutely traumatizing Sami with it. And this time, Scarlett, she dares Sami to use it. She throws it in the ring and she's like, go ahead. I don't care. Use it. Try to use it. If you use it, welcome to the dark side. Sami grabs it, looks at it for about 10 seconds, throws it out of the ring, keeps on his babyface stuff, and that's exactly what I love to see, because in the end he ends up beating Karrion Kross. I don't like the ending of him beating Karrion Kross, because y'all know Karrion Kross is the guy I love the most, or somewhat of the most on Monday Night Raw. I got a lot of favorite superstars. But I love Karrion Kross, and seeing him lose this match, I wasn't happy with. But seeing how the storyline's going to continue, I am pretty excited for. But I just hope they just do some better things with Karrion Kross. Whether that is moving him to the blue brand or doing anything else with him, he needs to be in the mid-title picture. And he could really use some help with AJ versus Karrion Kross right now. Especially if AJ beats Dominic tomorrow night at night 2 of SummerSlam. Then we see the match that I was actually really ecstatic for, and that was Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton. And I will say, my eyes were absolutely locked on this match. I could not wait to see this match. Going into SummerSlam tonight, this was probably the match that I was most excited for, to be completely honest with you, because I knew that going into this match, we were going to see a different side of Jade Cargill, and man, did they really get my hopes up. In my predictions video, I know I keep mentioning it a lot, but it's a huge part. I picked Tiffany Stratton to win, because I think we still have some unfinished business with Jade Cargill and Naomi. They've been teasing it for a while. They've been in a full-blown storyline. So I think that especially since Naomi is your champion, and since Bianca's about to be cleared with her fingers, I think that we're going to see that triple threat, whether that is at Clash in Paris, which Naomi's facing Stephanie Vaquer, so that wouldn't work either. I guess we'll see it at War Games maybe. That would probably be the best place to do it, which is after Clash in Paris. So I'm guessing that's going to be there. So that's going to be in my card predictions later in the weeks as we go closer to those PLEs. But after Jade hit the Jaded, which is her finishing move, I thought this was going to put Tiffany down. But I know this was a title match at the party of the summer, the biggest party of the summer, so there's no way that's putting the women's champion down. Tiffany kicks out of that. Not really. Jade goes to pin her, and her legs are on the ropes. Rookie mentality, Michael Cole says. I was caught off guard by that. That's not rookie mentality. That's just no IQ. I guess we could call it that. But then Jade was like, I'm not finished. She goes up to the top rope to hit the Jaded. Tiffany reverses it, in which I thought that Jade was going to land on her head. She didn't. Tiffany executed it perfectly. Jade rotated perfectly. Everything was perfect about that move. Tiffany gets Jade on the ground, hits her with the prettiest moonsault ever. Boom, just like that, Tiffany Stratton retains the championship, and this storyline has continued, and it was awesome. The match was awesome. We saw a different side of Jade and Tiffany both. It's awesome. And man, I'm so glad to be back doing these well-edited videos, because I just got this thing in the mail today, and we're back to doing them. So if you like them, like and subscribe, because we're going to keep on going. But such an awesome match there. Let's get to Randy Orton and Jelly Roll versus Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. This match was great. Logan Paul made another highlight moment by hitting the frog splash of Jelly Roll onto the announcer's table, even though it took a little bit, and it was getting a bit awkward after Logan ended up chugging that prime. But Jelly goes through the announcer's table. And by the way, the fans loved Randy Orton and Jelly both in this match. You could clearly tell who the heels and faces were, which is what I love in a wrestling match, especially if it's a celebrity. You know, it's always nice to see there be a fine line in between heel and face. So that was obviously very awesome. But after Jelly Roll was hit with the frog splash through the announcer's table, not even Roman Reigns was barely able to kick out of that at 2.99 from Logan Paul at Crown Jewel in 2022. Or 2024. Might be missing some. I'm pretty sure 2022. But only the best kick out of that. Jelly ends up getting up, coming to help his tag team partner in Randy Orton, and honestly, I was shocked by that. Because Randy Orton did not help Jelly Roll whenever he was attacked by Drew and Logan at the Performance Center. He was not there. But then on that Friday Night SmackDown that we saw last night, Randy ended up helping Jelly, and they ended up laying waste to Drew and Logan. But this match right here will probably go down as one of the best celebrity performances ever, just off of the selling. And I'm not talking about selling, it's the dedication to take those type of moves. That's insane. But Logan hits it, and I'm thinking that's it. I'm so excited. And by the way, I did pick Randy and Jelly Roll just because I thought that it would attract more people to click on that video or the highlights of SummerSlam whenever it does come out. So I thought that was going to be a good business decision to make that to where Randy and Jelly both win. But that didn't happen. Logan hits the frog splash. Then we get into this whole thing. Drew helps Logan. There we go. Logan gets the 1, 2, 3. And, man, I am glad Logan and Drew got the win. It definitely does some good things for Logan because he's kind of on the verge of falling down to the mid-card. He's in the main event right now. He's main event talent. He's getting on the main event of SmackDown in a tag team. It's insane. But I really do hope that Drew and Logan stick it out because they're a really good tag team and they're very good on the mic. And especially with both of their social media presences, I think they'd be perfect tag team together. But man, such a good match, and I'm probably going to go watch it back after this video. And in the main event, the match that we were all waiting for, the match that all of us acted like 4-year-old kids over. And that is CM Punk versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship in the main event of Night 1 of SummerSlam. Man, can I tell you, this match was in contention for Gunther's best match ever. I thought this was going to be a match that I was going to love, but at the same time I thought it was going to be a match that I wasn't going to be too pleased with the in-ring aspect just because of, obviously, the age aspect of CM Punk. I thought he was going to gas out, which he did, but he looked like $1,000,000 while he was gassed out. This was, we saw a different side of Punk. I know I'm saying that we're seeing a whole different side of a lot of superstars, but we really did. CM Punk came out there laying it all on the line, doing different moves he's never done before. He's literally went for a sharpshooter. He was pulling out everything in the book to try to tap out Gunther and try to win his title. But instead, Gunther gets that clutch locked in multiple times. Punk finds a way to get out of it. He ends up throwing Gunther over the announcer's table, where we see Gunther, I guess, blade himself, where he comes up absolutely insanely raspberry juiced up, if you know what I mean. I can't say the other word. But, because YouTube will absolutely destroy you for that. But Punk almost tapped out to Gunther multiple times, and Gunther almost tapped out to Punk multiple times. So Gunther was in the world of trouble. Punk was in a life or death situation. Punk ends up hitting 2 GTSs to get the win. The whole crowd erupted. CM Punk is your new World Heavyweight Champion. But the thing that got the best pop of the night was Seth Rollins' music hitting, and after all of my thought and mind going into, will we see Rollins end up cashing in on Punk, or will we see Rollins pump fake this, cost Punk the title, then go beat John? That's what I was thinking. I was thinking we were going to see a cash in on John, but now we know that match on Night 2 of SummerSlam in the main event, John Cena versus Cody Rhodes in a street fight, will be completely safe. Nobody to interrupt it except for The Rock, because we know Travis had a major falling out, and he's no longer going to be a part of it. So, especially hearing what John did on SmackDown last night, of him basically turning face, I think Cody's going to turn heel tomorrow, and this is going to be an iconic SummerSlam if so, and if the matches deliver like they did tonight. But man, Punk wins. Rollins' music hits. He's on his crutches, and it's like a sigh of relief is on his face. He turns around, throws his crutches, takes off his knee brace, starts walking to the ring, and that's whenever the realization hit my head that I've been worked. I made countless videos talking about how Seth Rollins went on the Rich Eason show. I think that's what it's called. He goes on there, explains everything. Explains how long he's going to be out, how this has affected his personal life, how it's a good thing as well with the shows coming up. He explains everything to a T in his normal voice, none of this heel stuff. Perfect Seth Rollins that we used to know. But then he walks down the ramp and my face is turning pale because I'm realizing that me, Dave Meltzer, Santi Zapp, Sancho West, Conman, Denise Salcedo, we've been worked. Every single YouTube content creator, every single TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever you post clips on, we've all been worked, and you cannot tell me that you weren't worked. You know, you've probably rewatched that injury 5,000 times, which I know I have for sure. I wanted to get down to a T and see it pop. I wanted to see that it was fake. I wanted to see that it was fake or real and define that line and tell the whole world to be the first one to say that it was fake. I couldn't find a way that I thought it was fake. This must be the best heist in history because it had me, somebody that picks down every movement somebody makes, even if they slip up in a promo. I'm using that on social media. I'm going with it. I break down everything. And if I didn't pick it out, nobody else did. Okay? And the only reason you had a little thought in your mind that it was going to be at work was if you really just sat in your room in the dark at night and was like, yeah, I think Rollins is going to, I don't think he's actually hurt. But you know, after seeing the video that Becky posted of him on his crutches in public with Rue running, you know that you thought that was fake. You know that you thought it was 100% real. You know that you thought that Rollins was down bad and it was a sad moment. I was genuinely sad for Seth Rollins. But Rollins goes down there, cashes in his money in the bank, and defeats CM Punk to become the new World Heavyweight Champion and is our champion. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. Quit acting like you knew this. You did not. We have all been completely bamboozled. Every single one of us has been worked. And it was perfect timing. WWE Unreal comes out. And it's like, we all were expecting something to do with Rollins' injury, but after seeing what went on backstage after an injury, we figured out today, we don't know anything. So ladies and gentlemen, comment on this video if the comments are turned on, and tell me that you got worked. And if you say you didn't, you're lying. You're blatantly lying in my comment section. Do not lie. Admit you got worked. And man, what was this match? Such a good match. Such a good ending. But Bron and Bronson came to celebrate with him after the match, literally given the fact that Rollins is going to use this to his attention. He's going to use this to his advantage on Monday Night Raw whenever he gets the opportunity, that we were worked. He worked CM Punk. He worked CM Punk into thinking that he was completely safe. He worked CM Punk into thinking that he was completely okay. And lastly, he defeated CM Punk at his worst point by himself. And we know that Punk ended up defeating Rollins at that Hell in a Cell match, or the Steel Cage match, on the opener of Monday Night, or the opener of Monday Night Raw on Netflix. But now Rollins gets his advantage. Rollins gets his revenge, as Michael Cole loved to say during this. It was an insane night. I really enjoyed this match. But if you did too, make sure to like this video and subscribe because it really helps out a lot. And now, the new milestone's 2,000. I never thought 1,000 was possible over here on YouTube because it's so hard to grow, especially as a wrestling content creator. But subscribe so we can get there one day and maybe even become as big as some of your favorite creators. So, I really hope you all enjoyed this video because I sure did. I absolutely love SummerSlam this year, and it's not over, believe it or not. We have a full another night of it of awesome matches and awesome booking. So, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to follow all my socials, like and subscribe on this video, and turn on the post notifications so you never miss another one. And I'll see y'all boys in the next one. Deuces, ooses.